Welcome back, Algebra 2. So now we're going to move on and we're going to graph the equations that we just moved into vertex form. So remember that A is 1 if there's no number in front of it. That's A. There's my H and there's my K. And your H and K work together. So now I know that the vertex is at -3, -14. There's probably a couple different ways you can do this. I prefer to put mine in a table of values. So I would put my vertex here in the middle, and then from there you're going to choose values that are bigger, bigger, smaller, smaller. Since there's symmetry on a parabola, I'm going to use these two numbers on this side because I know that'll give me positive numbers in my parentheses. So I'm plugging -2 in for x right now. -2 plus 3 squared minus 14. That adds up to 1. 1 minus 14 is -13. Now I'm going to plug -1 in for x. -1 plus 3 squared minus 14. That adds up to 2. Four minus 14 is -10. Pull back a little bit and we're going to graph this. Alright, so I have my first one at -3, -14, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Didn't really mean for it to go off the graph that much, but these things happen. Your axis of symmetry is the up and down line of the x part of the vertex. And let's see, I have -4, -13, -5, -10, and then you reflect it over, and that's also at -110. I wanted a few more points, and so earlier I set x equal to 0 so I could see where it was crossing the y-axis. So that 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 14 is -5. So I know I have another point at 0, -5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll talk a little bit later about where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. You can pause the video and do number 2, and then you can go check the notes and see how you're doing. I want to jump down and do 3 and 4 because they have coefficients that are not 1 that I make sure I cover. So there's my H and K. These two work together and they tell me that my vertex is located at 3, -1. I'm going to choose values that are bigger, bigger, smaller, smaller. I'm going to plug 4 in for my x right now. You have to remember to do your parentheses first. And then we're going to square the 1. It's a y. So I have 2 times 1 minus 1. And 2 minus 1 is 1. Now I'm going to plug 5 in for my x. Do the math in the parentheses first. Square it. So now I have 2 times 4 minus 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. I have a vertex right there, and there's my axis of symmetry. I'm going to plot the point 2, 1, and I'm going to reflect it over the axis of symmetry. I'm going to plot the point 1, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, and reflect that over the axis of symmetry. And then I'm just going to go through and connect the dots. And then on my last one here, there's my A, there's my H, and there's my K. If you notice, A is a negative number, so that means that it's going to flip and reflect and open down, and then it's also going to stretch. My vertex is located at -2, 8. Take your x values and choose values bigger, bigger, smaller, smaller. I'm going to plug -1 in for my x right now. Add the numbers in the parentheses. 1 squared is 1, times 3 is -3, plus 8 equals 5. Now I'm going to plug 0 in place of x. -3 times 0 plus 2 squared plus 8. 0 plus 2 is 2. Square your 2 first. That's -12 plus 8, which gives me -4. I'm going to start my first one at -2, 8. And then I'm going to draw in my axis of symmetry. I am going to plot the point -4, -4, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to reflect that over. Plot the point -3, 5, and reflect it over. And then finish sketching in your graph. So, it's helpful to know when A is a negative number, that it opens down to make sure that your points are showing up in the right spot. And go finish a couple of homework problems like this.